was quite nice too.
Yeah, I feel brighter in this one.
Yeah, I think it's similar to the white. It's just giving you quite a nice contrast. It's giving you all this kind of silver and sort of white. I feel like it's really defined all your features.
Yeah.
This was the one, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
More of this in your life, I think.
Hi guys, and welcome to another colour consultation with Natasha. I've got another subscriber here today. I've got Amy with me. Is it okay if you just say a few words about like what interests you about colour consultations?
Yeah, I feel like I throughout my life have been like drawn to certain colours. You know, when you like put something on and it feels like right or not. And I'm always wanted to know like if the colours that I've been drawn to are actually my season.
Ooh.
So we'll see.
Yeah, that's going to be really interesting to watch, like hoping that it's the right ones, so we'll see. But yeah, enjoy. I'll leave you to it and enjoy, everyone.
Thank you.
Welcome. How's the mirror height for you?
Yeah, it's fine.
Oh, great. Yeah, that's perfect. Okay, so we'll put this back on as well. Not sure what you know about colour analysis already, but I'll give you kind of an overview so you know what to expect and what to look out for on the session. So you can see the palettes all kind of sat here, all looking a little bit different. So our aim today is to find the best one for you. So that's not to say if the colours that you love, say they don't work on your skin, that's not to say you can't wear them, it's just to say they're not the best. So say there's a black and there is only black in one of the palettes. Say it doesn't suit. Yeah. If it's not the best underneath your face, maybe it's on the bottom or it's in a print or it's somewhere else. So it's not to say, you know, never again. So this is the only one with the black. This is like a kind of deeper, darker, more saturated one, because it kind of reflects that time of year where the light is like this and it just makes everything appear kind of a bit darker. So it's all kind of different lights, kind of deep, rich, earthy tones in this one. This one's been painted almost like with a bit of white over the top of it. This one's kind of quite light and bright, quite sort of pop colours. So they're all a little bit different and they all have a lot of different shades in them, light and dark. And I have a drape just kind of in the most dramatic of each of the shades, just so we can see. And then at the end, when you find out your season, you'll get a PDF of these, so you can just kind of whip it out when you're shopping and know exactly which shades as well. And what we're really looking for on your skin tone is, it's not just, you know, how do I look, but it's also how do I feel. So on the skin tone, you want to look well. So say a colour's not right, it might make you look unwell. It could take all of the colour from you. But it also could be too powerful. It might be that the colour's wearing you.
Okay.
And we want you to be the star, right? We want it to frame your face, so that's what we're looking for. We don't want it to be, you know, projecting its colour anywhere. We don't want it to be showing any shadows and making them look more so. We just want it to look nice and healthy. So we'll start with the reds. How do you feel about red as a colour?
I don't actually own that much red. I think I have like one red dress that's kind of like a very pure red, but I never really wear it, to be honest.
Interesting. Just because it feels too loud, maybe?
Yeah, I think it's not that it doesn't suit me, but it feels very much like I'm wearing a red dress. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it feels very, yeah.
How are you feeling in this almost like winey red?
It's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay.
I'll brighten it up a little bit.
Oh, I think I like that one a lot more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you tan at all? Burn?
I tan a little bit, but mostly burn.
And freckle a little bit.
Yeah. I quite like that one. I feel like it makes my eyes feel brighter.
Yeah.
It's so cool, like, how I can do that.
There's subtle differences between them. Your faces look different in most of them.
Yeah. No.
It's not bad. None of them have looked bad, I think, but it's just, if we're looking for your best shade, it's not that. It's just a bit nothing, a bit flat.
Yeah.
So I think we can eliminate that one off the bat.
It's hard as well, like, when you just like certain colours more, being like, do I actually not like how it looks on me? Or is it just the colour?
It's a little bit sort of, it's hard because if you like the shade as well, but you do tend to naturally gravitate. The colours you like do tend to suit normally as well, so it can go hand in hand. I think this is really nice.
Yeah, I like this one.
Your eyes are popping in this one.
Yeah.
It's nice and even though it's a powerful colour, it's somehow not too powerful, which is really nice. And just dial it down a bit.
I still quite like this one.
Yeah, it's definitely in between. I think they both were quite nice. Interesting. Do you blush at all?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm with you.
Very easily over nothing.
See, this one, when it first went on, I was like, wow, that looks lovely. But now that we've seen these two...
That's what I was thinking, yeah. Like, when you first put this up, I was like, oh, I like this. But once you've taken the other one off, I'm like, no.
It's just a little bit dull, isn't it? Okay. Good start. Would you say personality-wise, introverted, extroverted? Where would you be on that scale?
I'm a very outgoing introvert.
Okay, I like that.
Like, when I'm on, but that's quite rare.
How decisive would you say you are?
I feel like my answer to this question kind of... I was going to be like, I think I'm quite decisive.
Yeah,
but
then you couldn't decide about it. There is like a little bit of personality that sometimes comes into it, so I ask the questions, but it's a pinch of salt, definitely. This is a lot, isn't it? It's everywhere, underneath the nose. It's not bad, and I think your eyes look quite nice with it.
Yeah, I was thinking that. I think my eyes look quite bright, but I'm not sure with my skin.
Yeah. I think the eyes are the best in this one. Everything else isn't quite working. Oh,
I actually quite like this one.
Yeah.
I think it's got the opposite, maybe, where I feel like this goes with my skin more, but my eyes look duller.
Interesting. Yeah, I'd say it is bringing out some of the shadows, I think, and it's not very up colour. It's kind of a bit downwards, I think. It's just kind of bringing you down a little bit, but I like the contrast against your skin.
Yeah.
That is nice. I think that's what you're seeing, right?
I think probably, yeah.
Yeah, it's framing you really well. It's quite powerful, right?
I was going to say, I feel like
it's
this
a lot.
looks like I'm wearing green.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Oh, I'm preparing to hate the next one.
Is this the colour that you would actively avoid?
I think I once bought a dress in this, and it was like, I think it just looks really dull on me.
Yeah.
Like, when I put the dress on, and this was years ago before I knew like anything about colours.
Yeah.
And I put it on and I was just like, oh, this just doesn't feel right.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like yours, I think. So let's straight up remove that. It's making you, I think it's taking some of your colour. It's making you look a little paler, I think.
This one?
Yeah, because it's so...
Yeah.
but it's close, I think. Definitely an in-between with some of these quite highly saturated ones. I think this is the best one.
Yeah, I like this.
It's nice against your hair, it's nice against your features. Could be nice, like a kind of off-the-shoulder kind of moment, like in the winter.
Yeah.
Velvet.
Yeah. Yeah, this is definitely a very, like, velvety, rich colour, I think.
Yeah, yeah, the richness is nice for you. And I think this one was quite close, but also, again, I think some of the greens are just being close, but not quite there, 100%.
Yeah.
I think this is our outlier, right? We'll put this on the front. I think maybe like a slightly warmer, greenier version of this would be nice for you. Just a bit more green. It's quite mixed. Do some nice calming blues next. It can help when you're picking a denim colour as well. Do you wear much blue?
I like navy. I don't wear much light blue. I've owned like light jeans in the past, and again that was the thing where I was like, it doesn't look right, you know. And then I've had like, I don't know, I've had some light blue things that I really liked.
Yeah.
But then it was interesting what you were saying at the start about like, if it's not your colour, it doesn't mean you can't wear it.
Yeah.
Because I basically had like a light blue pinafore dress.
Yeah.
And I found if I wore like a dark, like a black top under it, it worked. But like with anything else, it was like, this just doesn't feel right.
It needed a bit of something darker.
Like the contrast, I think it was.
Yeah.
But like, by itself,
it's quite reflective for a light colour. And it's also, again, I think it's taking some of your colour.
Yeah.
Let's see if that nice navy works. Yeah, I like that. That's a nice contrast.
Yeah.
I can see why that's a colour that you're comfortable in.
Yeah.
You feel comfortable in this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, I like how the bright ones, I feel like, bring up my eyes.
Yeah, definitely. And it feels like it's giving you like a tan. It's bringing out some of that gold in you. It is a little bit reflective, but it's quite nice at the same time as well. Yeah, I think there's definitely a mix.
Interesting.
That's
Looks a
no
bit
for
dull.
me. Yeah. And again, it's kind of everywhere. I don't think it's gelling with your skin tone. It was one of those ones that just doesn't look like yours, I think.
I quite like this one.
Yeah. So maybe the blue that you had before, maybe you needed something a bit more, with a bit of zazz, pop. And it lifts you, definitely.
I feel very classy in this one.
You look really classy in it. It's lovely. I feel like it's really defined all your features.
Yeah.
Two good ones. More choice. Always nice.
I feel like that's been the case with the ones we've done so far, but they've been good for different reasons.
Yeah. Definitely there's an in-between. And I think we're looking for what's kind of the number one and what's the number two.
Yeah.
Some colour analysts give it kind of a name, like a deep something or a bright something. I tend to call it like a first and a secondary, but there's sort of different names for having two palettes.
Do the first and the secondaries tend to like sit near in that like I wouldn't be, or someone wouldn't be like a spring first but an autumn second? Would they tend to be like
they tend
a
to be
summer or
quite
winter
close
second?
to each other.
Yeah.
And you can see kind of here what we're laying out here is actually kind of one from each palette here. It looks like the tone-wise you're going for kind of deeper, but also more saturated for that nice contrast. So I think that's kind of what you've got in common with both of the palettes.
I never wear any yellow. I'm so interested in this.
I found this has been quite divisive. Is there a reason not for yellow?
Not particularly. I think it feels a bit like sunny for me. I don't know. I think maybe that's interesting. Like subconsciously, I don't feel like it fully meshes with my personality.
Fair enough.
Like I have a friend who lives in like yellow and orange, but she's like the sunniest person ever. You know, so it works.
You're a bit of a darker personality.
I think this one's better than the last one.
Definitely. Still not feeling like it, right?
Yeah.
That's better.
Yeah. I don't know if it's just because it's the colour, but I have that feeling of like it's wearing me though.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's just because I don't feel like connected to yellow.
Yeah, so I think most of the yellows you're going to be feeling like this just feels a bit off, right? And I think I know putting this one on is going to be...
It feels like muddy.
Yeah.
I think this is like another similar one where it just feels a bit like murky.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe it's kind of the deep mutedness of it. I think you just need a little bit more power in your colours. I quite like the power of this one.
Yeah.
I like the contrast against your skin. It's quite nice. So compare it to the one behind it, because I think these middle two are definitely looking like your best ones here.
Yeah, I think this one's probably my favourite out of them.
Yeah, it's softer, I think.
Yeah.
This one was maybe a little bit intense, so maybe that's why you were feeling a bit uncomfortable. Yeah, definitely softer. But you don't have to wear every colour from the palette as well. They're all choices and they're all things you have at your disposal, but it's so personal which colours you choose to wear. But it's nice to see there's a variety you can pick from. So you'll see some colours that I don't have as drapes. There'll be purples in there, there'll be browns in there, there'll be other ones that you can kind of play with. So this is what we're looking at right now. There's some softness, I think, as well. But also some it's quite a mix. Lightness, brightness. Look at pinks. Do you wear much pink?
I really like pink.
Nice.
I used to wear a lot more pink than I do, but I think I used to be really drawn to like pastel pinks and stuff. Which I think over time I was just like, it doesn't feel as much like me now. I was a lot younger, you know.
Yeah, I feel like it's not doing anything. If anything, this one's taking the colour. It's just a little plain and a bit flat.
Yeah.
This is
I
going to
think
be
this was the type of pink I was drawn to before. But then I bought a dress more like this recently. And I was like, oh,
that's great.
I like this.
Yeah, it's really nice. It's got lovely contrast to it. It hits you, right? It's quite pow.
It's interesting because it's so bright, but it doesn't feel overpoweringly bright.
Yeah, definitely not, yeah. And I feel like, if anything, your lips look quite nice in this one. It's giving you quite a nice colour, quite a nice contrast. It looks good against your hair as well. Yeah. Let's see what a slightly warmer one does.
I still like it. I think I like it less than the last one, but I still quite like it.
I think the other one just had a nicer contrast. It was just a bit more like of a wow colour.
Yeah.
This one's okay, but it's not as wow, I think. It's more like a kind of salmony pink.
Again, it feels like murky.
Yeah, exactly.
Feels the right word.
Just taking all of the colour right out.
Yeah.
Yeah. This was the one, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
More of this in your life, I think. Interesting. Got a nice mix here. Is that feeling kind of like you?
Yeah. I think the like richness
Yeah,
of them.
definitely. I think there's definitely a lot of richness that looks good with you. It just makes everything pop, makes the eyes pop, makes the hair pop. It's the big test. I think you're hoping for this one, right?
I'm concerned for my wardrobe if
Oh wow. Yeah, it's lovely.
yeah.
Yeah, it's got that nice contrast to your skin. Your eyes are really popping in this one. Yeah. Is that a liquor?
Don't have to stop wearing most of my things.
Yeah, I think that's really nice.
I have like 10 black tops. I'm like, they're all different. My husband's like, why do you need that many? I'm like, no, they're all different.
Yeah, definitely.
I think it's interesting. I don't like love it compared to some of the other colours.
I don't either.
But
It's not the
fine.
best one, but yeah, I think so. I think maybe some of the shadows are a little bit more there, so I still
Yeah.
think you need a bit more pop. It's just a no. This is like an off-white, kind of creamy white. It's quite nice. It's not bad at all. It's not doing that much, but it's not bad as a neutral.
Yeah, I agree.
If we go back to so even the white cape that you're in, I feel like that's really nice. It's kind of giving you some shine. Yeah. I think that's better than this. This one, I think it's like you were saying, those murky end colours, right? Just not really doing much.
Yeah, I like the pure white better.
Yeah. I feel like it's giving quite a nice contrast to your skin, making you look quite tanned, which is nice.
A rare feeling.
So, what is your preference with metallic things, jewellery, gold and silver?
Definitely silver.
Definitely, okay.
Yeah.
So we're looking for how it looks underneath your face. So say you were to wear a top or a dress in that kind of colour. So I'm not going to be someone to say, you know, you can't wear this jewellery colour ever again if it doesn't work. But say you're looking for like a dress in a metallic or a top in a metallic, it's just quite nice to know. So let's put that black on the top. Let's start with the gold. Just an experiment, just see what it goes like.
I don't hate it.
No, I don't hate it either. It's bringing out some of the... Yeah, they're really slippy. It's bringing out some of the warmth, which is quite nice to see.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's okay.
yeah, okay. Okay, it's not a bad reaction. Silver's quite nice too.
Yeah, I feel brighter in this one.
Yeah, I think it's similar to the white. It's just giving you quite a nice contrast. It's giving you all this kind of silver and sort of white across the face. So I think this one just looked a bit out of place, but this seems to just work with your sort of general feel. If anything, I feel like it's making your hair look quite dark, which is quite nice. Yeah, I think that's the preference. And I think that helps determine as well. I think you've definitely got a mix of warm and cool in you. I think there's redness to the hair, there's freckles, which could lean you towards a kind of warmer palette, which I think is why some of these warm colours are sitting quite nicely.
Yeah.
But then you've definitely also got some pinker, cooler undertones and cooler eyes. I think there's an in-between. But I think predominantly what we're vibing with are some of the winter shades, I think. The deepness of them and the darker and the brightness of them, I think. But I'm going to try and mix up with some of the other shades. These poppy, really bright, high contrast shades. So the spring palette, I think you're quite in the middle of them both, but maybe more edging winter, I think.
Yeah.
And I think that's definitely where you feel more comfortable. I think you can definitely take from the spring as well some of that brightness and kind of combine the two palettes. Some people would call that like a bright winter. So on the winter side, it's definitely less of the coolness, more of the brightness, more of the warmth. I think although the black was nice, it wasn't the best. So I think it can definitely be an accent to some of those brighter colours. I'm actually also a mix of those two palettes, but the other way around. More spring. Yeah, I think I've just got a bit more warmth.
Yeah.
You've got this kind of really lovely piercing eyes, I think, and just kind of nice, cool, lots of contrast in the skin tone, which is nice to offset and highlight with those deep, dark colours. But then also just have a bit of fun with the brightness as well for your warmth. How are these colours feeling?
I like them.
That's good.
Yeah. It's going to sound weird, but I feel like clean in them.
Yeah. Yeah, they're very crisp. I think it's making you look very sort of crisp and contrast. So there we go. So
I think I like one of the brighter greens a bit more.
This one.
Yeah. I think I like the brightness of the other one, but all the others I
This one.
really like. Wait, which one, sorry?
So these ones, actually quite a lot of winter here. But then we've added in some of the spring. Let's also put in, we quite liked the spring blue as well. So let's give you even more brightness, because I think you're attracted to some of the brightness in it as well. Yeah. I think with the darkness, you also want to offset it with some light. How's that feeling for you?
Yeah, I like it.
So it's not this one, so we can move that one out the way. And it's definitely not this one.
Were those the ones that I was always like,
Yeah,
no.
the end ones that you were rejecting. So it's definitely these two.
Yeah.
And actually, when they're next to each other, you can see a lot of kind of similarity to the brightness of both of them. This one's just a little bit deeper and darker. So they're similar in that this one's this really nice poppy red, but we also did quite like the kind of rosy pinker undertone of it as well. This one's got that very bright green that maybe looked a bit much, so I think these deeper, richer greens were better. And there's a lot of hot pinks in this, which looked really good. Quite a few you can play with, even these kind of purpley ones that can be really nice. Some rich purples could equally be nice as a kind of contrast to the skin there. So there's a lot of deepness and darkness that I think you can have fun with, which is still, even though it's quite deep and dark, there's still a lot of brightness, like maybe like this kind of pop blue, lots of shades of navy that you can play with. And maybe even like borrow some of the brighter ones from this palette. So some of those end shades, the really highly saturated ones that could kind of slot into this, could be quite nice. So like this kind of bright blue, this bright purple, maybe this isn't that far off from here, so just kind of tones of that forest could be nice to play with. Maybe we just ignore the yellow bit.
I don't.
See, maybe it's something in a print. Maybe that's a way of getting that yellow in that feels a bit more comfortable. Could be a dark brown, could be really nice. If the black is maybe feeling a bit intense, maybe it's a deeper, darker brown that could be really nice to play with. And that could be nice to sort of go with some of the warmth that you have as well. Maybe it's like a quite rich brown that you play with in both of the palettes, those kind of nice end colours. And there are some lighter colours in here as well that you can play with. Maybe it's this kind of lighter blue that you were talking about, but then you offset it, as you say, with the black. Maybe it's the silver, could be nice against it as well. Sort of black and white that you can play with. You've got a lot of really fun colours in both, I think, but still nice and dark, so they don't feel too powerful and too loud, I think, for you. So that is the mix.
Cool, nice.
Was this the one you were naturally gravitating towards? Or?
I think it's interesting because I feel like there was some, it was like a mix of both. So like these greens, especially the darker ones, I have some things, like I think especially maybe this one that I really like. And feel very me. But then like I think the pinks on this one, I felt quite drawn to.
Definitely a mix of the two. And I think, as you were saying, these dark, rich ones, but still have enough fun, I think. And maybe if you're thinking these are maybe too rich, maybe it's just kind of going a little shade lighter and sort of playing. But yeah, definitely all the greens were really lovely. And it could be lots of blues that you play with as well. We quite liked that quite fun blue. So maybe if this is feeling too icy, maybe it's just a little bit louder. And see where you're comfortable with there. How much of that bright blue you can take. There's lots of purple in both, but these are quite pinky purples and these are quite almost like bluey purples. So that could be kind of an experiment as well.
I don't think I own anything purple.
Could be quite fun. Yeah, they're quite similar.
I like these. Actually, I think
they're not too
quite like
far
them.
off. Yeah, let's remove.
I think when I think of purple, I think of like really bright purple. Which I feel less drawn to, but like these feel a bit more
you.
Muted as well.
I think you can definitely sort of take which ones are feeling more like you and experiment and maybe even pair some of them together so you've got a little bit from both. So we have a look at the purples. These kind of ones that you were drawn to. Yeah, really nice. It's that contrast again. Which is really nice. Even the light one is still quite fun. So yeah, definitely lots to enjoy.
Exciting, thank you.